Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 21st episode of the ICA Cricket Show. For a variety of reasons, there has been a longish gap between shows, but we are now back. Even as yet another edition of the IPL is nearing its final stages, we are all set for the fourth edition of the Women's T20 Challenge. It may be the fourth and final if the much-awaited Women's IPL kicks off next season, as the BCCI has indicated. To take us through where women's cricket is currently and to discuss the probability of the women's IPL and what it can mean to women's cricket in India and across the world, actually, we have with us a duo of former cricketers. Welcome back to the show, Jaya Sharma and Manjula Kishore. Now,
Thank you,
why we will miss Vanita VR, who had to pull out suddenly this falling due to some personal reasons. I hope you two have as much fun over the next 30 odd minutes as you did the first time around. We enjoyed having you around.
Looking forward to it.
Jaya, as some of you must be aware, is sports marketing graduate from IIM Kotak and concentrates among other aspects on mental conditioning, something very crucial in these prevailing times. We spoke about it at length actually in the last show. She's also a DDCA selector and so well versed with the current talent in Delhi and elsewhere. Our second panelist has a passion for organic farming. Manjula, incidentally, Vanita also is into organic farming, same mangoes.
Yeah.
But for Manjula, post her superannuation of Indian trade, it's more of a hobby, something she indulges in when not on television, analyzing cricket, which she does a lot of. I've seen some of your shows, and they are quite interesting. By the way, Manjula, I'm sending you my address once the show is done. You can send some organic mangoes.
Oh, yeah.
Pleasure to have you both on board, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Jaya, you're in Delhi right now?
Yeah, I'm in Delhi.
What's the temperature like?
Temperature is so bad. I mean, it's around 44 to 46. It's ranging.
You half that. Bangalore is 22 right now. So
You guys are lucky, I would say.
Yeah, but only problem is we need, along with our cars and bikes, we need boats because Bangalore is getting flooded. So, basically, I wanted to mention the weather to make all of you and those listening a little jealous of the Bangalore weather. But anyway. The heat will soon move to Pune, where the Women's T20 Challenge begins on May 23rd. That's coming Monday. So, Jaya, let me begin with you. You're looking forward to the tournament, and what should we be looking for from this tournament?
I think definitely we are looking forward to the tournament because it's the initiation step from BCCI to launch a full-fledged women's IPL. And we all know that BCCI has made numerous statements stating that they are ready with the roadmap of launching the full-fledged IPL in 2023. So I guess it was a good 4-year stint for the women's challenger in the IPL to get the idea of how things work and how things goes. And I think people are responding well to the tournament and the whole women's cricket. I can vouch for that because I've seen people, watching women's cricket, knowing about women's cricket, what was happening in the recently concluded World Cup. So I think it's a great step by BCCI, and I'm looking forward to the main edition with 6 teams in the 2023.
Yeah, I agree. It's all leading up to that. But Manjula, going by this is a high-profile one. For example, the recent domestic tournament took place would not have been really covered by television, etc. The odd match would have been live, but otherwise no. But this is where these girls, these 3 teams, and 16 members. I think each will have 4 foreigners, 12 Indian girls on each side. So how do you look at such high profile? Where does it take women's cricket to? You've seen it from its early days, and how important is it that this talent from all looks and corners now get a chance? How good is it for women's cricket?
Yeah, it's a big boost for women's cricket because, see, as you said, I've seen women's cricket right from its initial stages to the present day. It's come a long way, women's cricket, and it's good that it's under the BCCI umbrella, and BCCI is doing, and it's going all out to promote women's cricket to it and promote it to every nook and corner of India, to spread the game. You see so many young girls coming from remote areas of India coming to play the game, and the exposure they're getting by playing the game. So it's this Challenges Trophy is just a beginning of many bright things to come for women's cricket.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly hope so. But Jaya, there's something, is there an additional, like the IPL has been used to fast track a lot of cricketers into the Indian this thing. Does this tournament also serve such a purpose? As a selector, would you be watching it keenly? I mean, you're a state selector, but as a national selector, would they be watching it keenly? Does fast tracking happen? And this young talent, we've seen people like Kiran Agarwal go to Nagaland and score all these runs. So there must be some other youngsters knocking the doors. So can you throw light on this selection policy part and which youngsters you think we should watch out for?
I think yes, I mean, from a selection part also. And I think the most important step here, what this challenges platform trophy can give to the Indian women's cricket ecosystem is the feeder system, being the feeder system for the national camps and the national team. We have seen it, we have witnessed it with the men team, the men IPL. Now, if Rishabh Pant is coming into the team, or maybe any other youngster is coming into the team, they're ready. They don't take time to acclimatize. They're just bang on. So I think that vacuum is filling basically the gap between the domestic circuit and the international circuit. So I think this is the perfect product to fill in that vacuum, because you are getting players who are ready, who know what happens at international cricket. Because if you are playing and sharing the dressing room with some of the foreign players, you get to know a lot of things. So there is a exchange of ideas, there is exchange of approach, there is exchange of culture. So the youngsters, they become more open, and they are more confident about their game, because they're sharing that dressing room with these players. And from a mind conditioning point of view, I think that is very important, because in India we find many people who are coming from remote areas. They lack in the approach, they lack in the confidence to go out there in front of the world and project what they feel. But this platform, from that perspective, and becoming the feeder system to the national team, I think is a perfect product for us. And with respect to the youngsters, I think there is no scarcity of talent. I have seen myself, I'm heading the selection panel for Delhi Cricket Association right now. And I can see lot of young talent coming up. They know how to express themselves. They are, acclimatizing in the seniors as well. So I'll just give you an example. What I did with my Delhi team is I picked up almost 6, 7 under 19 players to play for senior team, and each one of them have performed. So I think
Brilliant.
that shows that, that these talent, we are, yes, but we need to have a keen eye to watch out for this talent and to promote them at the right time. So I think we'll be having a lot of youngsters to watch for in this tournament. As you mentioned about Kiran, she played for Nagaland and scored 150 plus runs. So I think that is tremendous. That is huge, and it is showing how the women's cricket has evolved throughout the years till now.
Yeah, I mean, that's what, we Kiran going to Nagaland. Possibly she scored her runs, at a lower thing. But there is no such hiding place in this particular tournament, the challenge is coming up. So the T20 challenge. So this is the platform she has created for herself now, isn't it, Manjula? By performing it wherever she got a chance, she's performed. Similarly, there are others who now, meet at this particular platform, mingle with the others, and should they score here, then the sky's the limit for them.
As Jaya pointed out, see, this challenges is going to be middle level of a tournament, in the sense it's not an international tournament, neither it is a domestic tournament. It's a platform to fill the gap of domestic vacuum, in the sense, the standards at the domestic level may not be so high as international level. So this is a platform which is giving the youngsters to improve their skills along with the international stars with whom they're sharing the dressing room. So as she pointed out, it's a very good platform for the youngsters.
Nirmala, sorry, Manjula, you're talking about youngsters, but look at the other end of it. These very youngsters will not have the opportunity of playing alongside the Mitalis, women. Vida is not going to be there. Shika Pandey is not going to be there. The selectors, I mean, they don't play T20 internationals currently, but the fact that we're leading up to the women's IPL, I want both of you to weigh in on this, but you first, Manjula. Should you think they should have played this edition? After all, and allow the franchises next season to possibly pick them or whatever.
No, see, Mithali was as it is not included in the T20s, I think. Even at the international level, she was not in the T20.
Yeah, even Julian.
Both Mithali and Julian, but not part of
even in the domestic circuit, Mithali did not play for Railways. She was part of the team, but she did not play the matches.
Okay.
Yeah. See, actually, these two, I mean, now you should look into the future. This is a tournament which is going to be a platform for future of women's cricket. So these have done a tremendous service, these two, but now they had to take a backseat and let the other girls take up, like Smriti Mandana, Harmanpreet Kaur, and Rodrigues, and there's so many other youngsters who are doing so well. Sneha Rana was doing so well. So, I mean, they should take a backseat and become the mentors of the team. They can pass on their experience to the youngsters.
Okay, what about in the context, Jaya, of the women's IPL? See, when the men's IPL started, I mean, people like Rahul Dravid, even Sachin Tendulkar, Kumble, none of them were playing T20 cricket. But the fact that they needed these names for a new league which is being launched, the world was watching, and they made a success of it also. So, seen in that context, them missing out this tournament. I mean, we are assuming that there's a women's IPL next year. If it doesn't happen, it's different. So I was sort of looking at that context that maybe they needed to play this both, as a sort of preparation for the big one to come. I was looking at that. I know that they've stopped playing, but as I told you, look what happened on the men's IPL. All these guys played in the initial year, and then they gave it to youngsters. So I want you to comment on that, Jaya.
Yeah, I think that can be done. I mean, to promote and for the branding of the women's IPL, you can do that. I mean, you can make them play for different teams, different franchisees. But one more thing can be done is they can be the iconic players, which a lot of these players done in with the franchisees. I think they can be picked up as iconic players and help groom the youngsters at the same time, because see, T20 cricket is all about the intensity. So definitely your body needs to be fit. You need to, the fitness level has to be at the peak. So I think I think they'll take a call about, because it needs a lot of effort on that part, intensity part, fitness part. I think they can become an iconic player and guide and groom the youngsters at the same time.
Yeah, anyway, I guess once the franchisees come into the picture, anyway, it becomes their choice. They will,
Sure.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm sure they will, go for these people at least for the first couple of years, and maybe play them first year, and then they look at using them in other ways. Jaya, this 12 foreign players, who are going to be part of this women's T20 challenge. There are two ways of looking at it, isn't it? One is obviously some of them are pretty big players, so our girls will learn a lot from them, but they'll also be here to learn, right? How it is to play in India. We'll obviously, Pune, I think, will draw some crowds. It's a faraway stadium, but I'm sure it'll draw enough crowds. So it will be an experience for them, isn't it? Indian conditions. So it works both ways.
Yes, definitely it works both ways, because we have seen a lot of international players have shown interest in playing the IPL, because they know what IPL means in India. You get the crowd, you get the broadcasting, you get the endorsements, and you get to know the players, the game, And it's a very good platform for sharing all these things, as I earlier mentioned, to exchange cultures, to learn. And yeah, definitely, I mean, they can learn from us also. It's nothing like that we only have to learn from them. We have a rich culture, we have a rich history of women's cricket in India. We have good talent, good talent pool. I think definitely it works both ways. And it's always this thing that when two players are playing together, they learn from each other. Consciously, unconsciously, they learn from each other. They understand the ideas, they understand the strategies, the opponent strategies. So I think it works both ways.
But surprised to see only one Australian in the mix.
I guess, yeah. I mean, Australia being, so much into the system and winning the World Cup just now, I think, and I don't know. Maybe it's the matter of the availability of the players, because that can be one reason. Because Australia is a very important country in the ecosystem, the whole ICC ecosystem. And we have many players from England. We have from West Indies, even from Bangladesh. We have two players.
Yeah. Yeah.
South
Surprising, we have one from Thailand too. That's
Island,
very
yes.
interesting.
And I was expecting some more. All these developing countries, like upcoming countries in the cricket, women's cricket. Like, a lot of countries are playing these days. France is playing. All the Commonwealth countries, they are playing. So I guess one or two player from USA, or because USA market is also growing at the same time. So I think one or two players from these circuits could have been a good show for as ICC is promoting women's cricket a lot. So I think it could have been a much greater, it could have much greater impact on the audience when they see all these European countries players.
Talking about Commonwealth players, I think the Commonwealth Games is coming up, where
Yes.
women's T20 is one of the
Yes.
sports. So that should be interesting and lovely for our girls to get this chance, to get to play in the Commonwealth Games. I was just going through these as far as the IPL, women's IPL is concerned. Like what BCCI President Ganguly has said, saying it has to be approved by the AGM. We plan to have it by next year, hopefully. So the AGM will be in November, December, or even earlier this year.
It will be in August, September.
Yeah. So then, and even Brijesh Patel, current GC chairman, so his term gets over after this, I guess. But he also clearly said the process is on. And the good part, Manjula, is that it is sort of understood that the teams who are part of the IPL now are keen on buying teams for the league, women's league. So, and the BCCI has also indicated first choice to give it to existing teams, like the existing franchises, and then only them. So this will be a great thing, isn't it? Because they already have an eco structure in place. They know how to, take the tournament to a different level. These franchises, they bring in support staff, who are absolute experts in their particular fields. So that should be very interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Because see, they're already in this business for such a long time.
Yeah.
Over 10 years, they're in this, running the show. So, but it's very good that they're showing keen interest to have women's wing also with their male counterparts. So I heard Rajasthan already has initiated, Rajasthan Royals. They are very keen to start women's team along with the men's Rajasthan Royals. The only thing they should do is, it's my opinion, they should not club men and women IPL together. Women should have a different calendar, in the sense they shouldn't be playing matches together. Like say, morning women play and evening men play. Because then what happens, women will lose out on the publicity part of it, and they tend to compare the games. See, you should never compare men's cricket with women's cricket.
Yeah,
they are two different entities. That's one reason why I think women's T20, they ensured that they didn't have it along with the men last time. Women had it separate in Australia. And that's how they could draw such a huge crowd. Women's cricket got publicity on its own. It promoted itself. It didn't need men's cricket to promote women's cricket. So sometimes it gets overshadowed also.
I agree, but the 100 took the other route, isn't it, Jaya? They had the women's matches the same day, in fact, the same ground. And in one way, Manjula, I tend to agree with what you're saying. You know, they are two separate games and it robs of the. But, you know, finally, what rules the game is television money.
Mhm.
So that's where you might have an issue where television might say that this is the thing. So
Okay.
maybe initially they'll be forced to sort of club the two tournaments together and then move on, create a space for itself, like they're doing now with the women's T20 challenge, playing it in between, things like that. Because that you know, if you read reports of what happened in England, massive crowds, and there were, I think Cricket Info or somebody had a lot of public talking. They said, look, it's a great, we bought one ticket, we could see both the games, so the choice was ours. But they say that after the first week or so, people start coming in for the earlier matches. Initially, they bought the ticket saying it's okay for, but they realized that a good cricket happening. So the main thing I think boils down to
buy one get two.
Yeah,
It's
the whole
like
day is
something
covered.
like buy one and get two.
Yeah, so that was what was interesting. The whole day was covered. But you know, which is why there, Jaya, ultimately what it boiled down to is talent. The IPL is successful because the world's best cricketers are in India playing this. They're fighting to play the IPL. Similarly, if you look at another league, which is the Kabaddi League, again, because India is the strongest, it is hugely popular because, again, the world's best, which could just mean a few Iranians here, a few Japanese and Chinese, but the world's best are here. Will the women's IPL, once you put it to 16, will we be able to sustain the quality? This is a question I asked in the last two shows of the men's IPL because of the two new teams. 10 teams, we were enough talent. And all our panelists then said 100% we have, which is being proved. A lot of youngsters in this IPL have been amazing. They have been surprised. Similarly, Jaya, can you take us through what are the, you know, is it feasible? Is it the right time for 16? We have enough talent?
Yes, definitely we have a right talent because being into this selection panel and watching these girls for over 5 years, I have my old teammates like the 2005 World Cup teammates. They are heading different states. So we talk and we discuss. And we always get to know that, you know, somebody is performing well, this youngster is doing this, it's all about showing the confidence in them. It's we are ready for 16 IPL. We can have 16 very easily. And the BCCI have said that the 4 existing franchises, it will be awarded to the 4 existing franchises, and two are open right now. Whoever wants to buy it. So I think we are ready. We are at the right time, and this is the right time to promote 6 teams because it will fast track our success rate. And one more thing is there that 2023 under 19 World Cup is also there for women. So yes, so that because people have this in their mind, so it will be very easy for the selection panel to choose and pick the right talent if we get under 19 players, and to promote at the same time the right talent at the right time. So I think it's a good idea, and I think we have enough talent to support the women's IPL.
I mean, that's good to know. You know, I just quote Alisa Hilly here. You know, she's always expressed her excitement for a full-fledged women's IPL, and she's talked about it helping India become an unbeatable side in about 10 years. You know, what she has said is, she said IPL in particular, to be able to grow the game in India is incredible. It's an untapped market in the women's game.
Sure.
And she says it will do so much for domestic talent that India is going to be unbeatable in 10 years. She said they need a leg up in the domestic setup because Australia have got a good setup and we do too. But this would just drastically change, is what she says. She said, please, if you want a 32, 33-year-old, I'm very much available. You know, so Manjula, that makes it, you know, coming from.
I just need to make one
Sure.
point here. One very important point is why our domestic is not very sound as in the ecosystem, because all the talent concentration is with Indian Railways.
Very true.
So We have all the talent at the one part, and the rest of the teams are not very effective. They are vulnerable, and whoever performs for state, the Indian Railways picks them up. They have a side for 20 people, 20 players, and whoever is not playing, I tell you, he is equally good as an India player. And at the same time, if Railways is performing, against any state, so they have an upper edge, they have an advantage. So it creates a vacuum in the talent pool, in the ecosystem, and that is the biggest loophole we have. And this is what with this IPL is, we can cover this loophole, and we can cover that vacuum, because the talent will be all over, and with the different franchisees. So I think it will make our ecosystem more reliable in terms of producing the results and producing the talent in a fast track way.
Jula, you're from the railways. You're a different. I
Yeah.
mean,
I'm
we all appreciate the fact that
No,
railways give
I'm
jobs.
also from railways.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
even
Yeah,
Jaya Sharma is
jobs.
also,
Yeah.
unfortunately, what's happened with women's cricket is, so far it's only the Indian Railways which is recruiting girls. They're getting jobs on sports quota. Earlier, you had Air India, which would, I think only few got jobs. Rest of them were playing on stipend. So, because there's hardly any money, people would love to get a job in railways. So they are secure for their life. Now,
Absolutely.
coming to Jaya's point is that Indian Railways has got the best talent pool available in India. But what I can say counter to that is, you just take example of Hyderabad and Andhra. Earlier, before BCCI took over cricket, Hyderabad was nowhere in picture. It was played as Andhra Pradesh. Now, when BCCI took over the women's cricket, it became Andhra and Hyderabad. And Andhra girls are doing so well. Andhra cricket is so well spread. They have their inter-districts. It's a very good system they have in Andhra. So biggest benefit of splitting AP into two states was formation of Andhra women's cricket. So there is talent. There's so many other small states which are throwing up talent from nook and remote corners of India. Just take example of Vastrakar. I believe she comes from a very remote area of Madhya Pradesh. And there are many kids who come from remote areas. So one thing they can do is spread the game. They have enough states which can compete at the national level. Only thing they can do to promote much in a bigger way is to have more tournaments. As of now, you have just two tournaments. One is 50-over format, the other is T20. There are hardly any tournaments for women's cricket. The best way to improve the skills of women cricketers is to have more tournaments.
Right. That's two-way thoughts about that. But my biggest takeaway here is that somebody like Jaya is also convinced that we have the depth. You said, you're saying people from far off are playing. The railways themselves will now, obviously, for franchise cricket, release the players. So the player will get spread out into different teams. Will be good for the other players also will get to play alongside these railway players. I know when in domestic tournaments, everybody fights, plays well, come to the final, and then railways just finishes that game because everybody is there. So that's the thing. But if somebody doesn't give jobs, so the other answer is contracts. Can states start giving contracts? But that's again a long way away. It's not really happening. Men cricketers are asking states to give contracts, still not come there. But this could be the game changer, the women's IPL. So for me, the biggest takeaway from this show is that I was just thinking about talent and things like that. I'm now a little more confident because people say that there are, and it's showing actually. If you look at India's performance itself, there are, just like in the men's team, you don't compare the two cricket. The game as such, they are different, but the talent part is coming from all over the country, remotest of places. It shows that the game is just spread. So it is something which is now very heartening. So, ladies, on that note, I would actually like to end the show. I just hope that this translates into reality. This is the last of the women's T20 challenges that we get to see. And let's hope for a good tournament in the first place. And then we will say goodbye to the women's T20 challenge and welcome to the women's IPL. Thank you. Thank you
So
both very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
I'd like to place my gratitude to Ankita to put the show together. And I know she's the one who sets up all the technical part also. So ladies, thank you once again. And we will trouble you once, few more times in the future to join us for further shows.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. And
Thank you, sir.
I will send
Thank
you my address, Manjula, though you haven't reminded me, I will send it to you for the mangoes.
Yeah. My mangoes are already on the
Okay.
way.